Hi, this is Jason with Sweaty Hero Comic Bargains, and again, Vintage and Vinyl Amherstburg record store, and cassettes and all that kind of cool stuff. But also in the vintage section, we have about 10 long with in June 2026 had 10 or 12 long boxes of dollar comics. So this video is basically to tell you what kind of cool dollar comics you can find at your local comic shop or places like Vintage and Vinyl or different places that you can buy dollar comics like at comic book conventions uh, or flea markets or if they still exist, because most, yeah, anyways. So we got Purge #1. This is a glow in the dark cover. I'm not going to try it, but this is Lightning Comics. Lightning Comics was a short term independent publisher in the 90s, trying to ride the craze of independent comics, trying to make it big. And so that's kind of a neat find for me as someone who likes digging into comic books I've never read before. First Comics was in the 87. First Comics was one of those publishers that happened before the 90s boom, where it was independent comic book publishers, creator owned, coming into their own. Who even now, some of them didn't make it big except for things like Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. But there were a lot of independent publishers right before the Image wave who paved the way for the Image guys. Do not forget it. Psycho Blast, first issue. Nice cover. Don't know who the character is, but I want to read it. Ravage 2099 was Stan Lee and part of the 2099 universe, which created Spider-Man 2099. I've read this before. I enjoyed Ravage 2099 as the only new character out of those 4 books that were released: Punisher, Spider-Man, Punisher, Ravage. Punisher, Ravage, Spider-Man, and I think X-Men 2099 was the 4th one. Doom 2099 was the 4th one. X-Men 2099 was later. Yes, those were that's right. Romantic Secrets with a photo cover. Always kind of cool to find these kind of books. Secret Defenders as a team with Doctor Strange, and this is a 90s book. Star Blast crossover, which is kind of cool. Star Blast was a crossover with Quasar and with the New Universe, actually. The Secret History. This is not a Christian comic. I haven't read it yet, but basically it takes this issue particularly, takes the Christian story of the Exodus and kind of mythologizes it with like the idea of like Conan the Barbarian stones and stuff or something. It sounds interesting. It's fiction, right? So I'm not. I'll let it be what it is. I'll read it and see what's it about. Ship of Fools. I wonder if that's a reference to a song. But it's an Image comic book I never have heard of before, so we'll check that out. Actually, that should come after Sergeant Fury. That's a slip up of me not putting things in alphabetical order. Sergeant Fury, as an older comic book, Eye for an Eye, great cover. Despite the fact that I'm doing like the last letters, I don't think it matters in terms of watching these videos in order. This is just to show you dollar book stuff. Spelljammers is from TSR, and DC Comics published this. This is kind of Spelljammers within Dungeons and Dragons, right? The Spider is kind of cool to me because Spider Noir, which is Spider-Man Noir with Nicolas Cage, which is actually Spider-Man, is inspired by the Spider, which was a character that existed around the time of the Shadow and, even before Batman, I guess, in pulp stories. And so they're taking this character, Alex Ross, giving him a cool costume and dusting them off. So who knows? We might see characters like these if Spider-Noir is popular. Peter Parker Spider-Man comic book. This is one right before they canceled the second volume of the book. An issue of Sports Action, and again, this is an example of how, because it has damage to the book, you would find this in a dollar bin instead of for $20 or $50, because Otherwise, the main part of the cover is not pretty. It's pretty good condition in my opinion, and it says $20, so it probably was a $20 book even in this condition. But you know, who's gonna buy sports action? A very limited audience, right? Uh, Star Slayer. This looks like a sci-fi book, but in a kind of like a Star Wars vein, which is kind of fun. I think I have checked that out before. Um, this is one of the epic books I've not really got a chance to read. Steel Grip Starkey. I don't know what this is about, but I think that Epic which was published by Marvel, had a lot of interesting creator-owned stuff. America's Best Comics, and we have from Alan Moore, we have Terra Obscura. I'll leave it at this for today with Terra Obscura, and there are 2 volumes, and make sure you take a look at both covers. And that is our Sweaty Heroes Comic Bargains playlist today. Thanks, and stay sweaty. This one that looks like Tom Strong to me might be making an appearance. And Alan Moore, famous guy, Watchmen. Take care, stay sweaty.